Let's get started here. Today's an exciting day for SmartSuite in that we're releasing the version 1A of the SmartSuite community. And I wanted to just have the opportunity to tell you a little bit more about the community and where we're headed, what's been happening the last couple of months behind the scenes here as we prepared this based on all the feedback that we're getting. And I think that many of you already know this, but I want to restate it, that community is really the DNA that holds SmartSuite together. It's the key feature that we want to offer back to our customers above any other feature in the product, is a place for the community to share knowledge and ideas and converse with each other. And we feel that's what will begin to set SmartSuite apart from some of the other products that you may use going forward. And that we use the community as the vehicle, not just for you to share information with us, but for you to progress in your own personal and professional careers as well. So we want to go through that and the reason for that today, as well as update you on the leadership team that we've been working with, about 25 people that have stepped forward to help us get the community going initially, and then share some of those thoughts and the structure that we're beginning to put in place. One of the things that I get asked quite often about community is why you, Tara, and Pete, which Tara and Pete are co-founders with me. Tara is my wife and runs the sales side of the organization, and Peter is our CTO. And the reason that we founded SmartSuite was we had an idea for a product that we thought was needed in the market. But at the same time, we have this need between the three of us for community. And in the past, we had started a company, Archer Technologies, where we did a great job of building community. And today that community is really thriving with tens of thousands of people that interact in that community each week. And there's 30, 40, 50,000 people that are certified on that product. And it's really helped people begin to build their careers and really change their life over time in 20 years with what they've been able to do as a result of being in the community. And that's the genesis of what we want to do with SmartSuite. We want to start that same type of community. And in a perfect world for Tara and I, as we get things rolling inside of SmartSuite and get the company more established, we would love to travel the world and be the community ambassadors that's here, where we have the chance to meet with people in different geographies around the world, not just talk about SmartSuite, but really talk about no code in general, workflow automation, project management, just in a way that helps businesses better operate and be more efficient, but also in a way that builds relationships between people in those areas where you can maybe share your knowledge and failures with other people that enhances you in your individual geography as well. And a traditional community, if we think about it, is really about exchanging ideas and knowledge. And we have those components built into the community that I want to show you today. But it's a lot more than that. We're looking to build an ecosystem that brings together our customers, our prospects, our partners, industry experts, and the SmartSuite team all together into one ecosystem that's there. This isn't a community where we're just wanting to push information to you. It's a community that we want for us to establish, but we want our team to begin to step away from this, and we want to anoint a community chairman that's outside of SmartSuite, that their job is to help understand what the community wants, how the community should look, the types of features that are here. And underneath that community chairman is really a leadership team. And we haven't came to a good conclusion on the name of that team, but it's about 25 people that kind of span the globe. I think we're in 9 or 10 different countries. The people that we've been talking to, very diverse group of people, as well as different industries that are supported, from answers to nonprofits to marketing teams, all the way up to Fortune 1000 type companies, all in the mix to tell us what the community should be all about. And our job, and that what SmartSuite wants to do, is what we're going to show today, which is to build the infrastructure for the community. And you'll see a picture here of Nate at the top. Nate is our representative from SmartSuite. He is our community manager that is making all things happen behind the scenes as we work with many of you. And he'll be taking direction from myself, the chairman of the user group, and then the leadership team. That leadership team will be convening right now about every 2 weeks for the next couple of months as we really round out what we want the community to be. And then it will be something that where we meet with that team maybe once a month or every 6 weeks as we get things established. So with that said, I would like to just drive in and begin to show you version 1A that's been a result of the hundreds of discussions that we've had with each of you, as well as some pretty detailed meetings with the leadership team as well. So the first thing that you'll notice is that on the homepage, when you first log in, we have a what's new right here at the top. This is to keep you updated day by day of the features that are coming in SmartSuite. This isn't just the big features that we've been doing a decent job of communicating, but what we've heard back from the community is we want to know about the little features that are getting rolled out each and every day as they're rolled out that's there. So there's a couple ways that you'll see that. We try to make it very visual on the homepage, where you can just click in, or as soon as you get to the homepage, you can just see a listing and you can scroll across. You can then click in and begin to see the details of each of those that are here. And in many cases, we'll have links to help articles and what is coming for each feature that we do, as well as we've had requests to do videos that allow you to not just read the text, but to see a short video, most of the time less than a minute, that kind of gives you the key points that are there. I'll show the communication center and the new capability that's there as an example of where we would include a video here to help you get more up to speed on this. We're also been requested to include some of the more popular discussions right at the top and allow you to actually comment and vote on those right from here, or to add reactions, from here, and to be able to scroll across and then to break those down into things that are getting the most traction, that are more popular, and things that are recently active, meaning things that were just posted that you might want to take a look at that's there. This is just meant to give you a quick summary. And then at the bottom, we've been asked to add announcements, which on just what's going on at SmartSuite internally, or what's going on with our partners, or what's going on with some of the micro user groups inside of the SmartSuite community in different areas that you might want to be aware of. So we don't want to hound you with announcements. So we're going to try to be selective here, but we do want to keep you up to date on kind of what's happening in the community. The single biggest feature that was requested here is to add a feed, which we have done, that allows you to come in and see a listing of all of the different posts and things that are taking place in the community in one view. That's here. Sorry. So you can see that here as I begin to scroll down, but then have the ability to drive into and see just the specific posts that are being made. So I'm looking here at product updates. Maybe I want to see just announcements, just general questions, new members that are joining, show and tell, which we'll talk about in just a minute, and then development hub. We'll be working with the group to refine this list here at the top that's here, but this is just meant to be just a quick feed of everything that is happening inside of the community to make it easy for you to see this. The next request that we've added at the top here in the community is a leaderboard. So you can begin to see who in the community is posting and responding to things. So this is just a points-based system that is based on the number of posts that you add, the comments, the reactions, those types of things. So you can see that Baskin has been a leader for quite some time. We can also break this down by month, and we can break it down by week that's in here. So if I go back to the all-time, if you want to see more information about one of the leaders that are in the group, each person has the chance to have their own personal profile. And then you see that we've added some tags here to help you understand a little bit about some of the people. This ambassador tag right now represents that Baskin is a member of our leadership, the community leadership team, who is helping to found what the community is all about. So this just helps you know that maybe you want to have a conversation with Baskin if you have comments about how to improve the community itself. We're also listing partners with badges. So you'll know if this is a customer or partner. In the case of Baskin, he's all three. He's a partner, a customer, and an ambassador that's here. If I go back to the leaderboard, maybe I'll pick Dan Lehman as an example. You can see that Dan is just a partner. And in this particular case, you'll see the posts, that most recent posts that are coming about as well. In the case of Dan, he does quite a number of really great how-to videos that are there. And we really want to promote that. Dan is getting a lot of play that's really helping a lot of people, just driving a lot of discussions on how people can better use not just SmartSuite, but no code in general. And this is a great example of Dan showing off how to integrate Make inside of SmartSuite as well. Okay. A couple other items that we've turned on that you might not be aware of is now you can go into messages. You can see a list of, these are direct messages that you can have with people. But if I want to have a direct message with somebody in the community, I can come in here and just search for the member, say I want to have a conversation with Nate. And this is just a private conversation between the two of you in the community. Up here under notifications is just letting you know what's happening in the community based on all the notifications that you've set up that are there. All right, so let's jump into product updates very quickly. So I showed you 3 different ways you could see product updates. I can come to the home and see an overview. I can see those in the feed. But if you come to the product update board, the request here was to add tags that would allow you to very quickly say, I'm just interested in what's happening from an automations perspective with updates. And you can categorize and see those particular items. We also added the ability for you to react to these. So you can see various reactions that you can come put in place. And then if I wanted to see the details, I can drill in. This is a particular one that just came out today. We've released the Jira Cloud, the ability in automations to now pass information to Jira or pull information from Jira into SmartSuite that's there. And you can comment and follow, share each of these as well. That's here. On the Get Inspired side, this is a fun one. We were asked to set up a board that would allow and to pick certain videos that help people begin to understand how they can use SmartSuite in ways that they might not be thinking about. So we pulled in a number of videos from different people in here to help get this kicked off on the From community side. We also have a form where we'll be able to submit videos that you've created, and we're also monitoring the community to find great videos that might be posted here to say, hey, we're going to pull those up and highlight those because they're interesting. We've also included the weekly showcases that Nate does for us, just showing our onboarding team is doing each week the types of builds that we're focused on. These videos typically range between 4 to 7, maybe 8 minutes max that's in here, but these are actual videos of implementations and showing the how-to and the structure of things that are there. And then we have a smart tips. I think most of that Avi does once a week as well, with just little quick, sometimes 30-second to a minute and a half little tips of things that you might not be aware of that's meant for some of our power users that are pretty familiar with SmartSuite. And we add a few little nuggets there, here and there, that once you with hotkeys and such that make things even easier for you once you get going. So we'll continue to include those here. And then as we do recorded webinars, we will include those here. We won't put every webinar here, but we'll try to put ones that we feel are most interesting to you, and a lot of ones that include our partners, our customers, showcases, those types of things. So really, the Get Inspired is just that. We were asked just to share more information about how to inspire people and what can be done in SmartSuite. The general questions has been revamped with just a new look and feel, so that you just get the title of the questions along with the tags, and you can see comments that are here, and you can react right from here without needing to actually drill into the comments. So this is your individual reactions, just to make it very easy for you to go through and add reactions that are here. And then if you click into one, you'll see the actual comment and you can see the responses. You'll notice that the tags relate to people anywhere that they're associated inside of the community. You'll see the tags so you can get a better understanding of maybe who they are and their role. What's coming for this that I'll talk about towards the end as well is with our certifications, which we're rolling out formally next week. If you become certified in one of our 3 certifications, we'll show your certification here as well. So as you're talking to other members, they'll know maybe you're have the SmartSuite professional certification, and you'll know that maybe you could take the response from this person might be a little better than maybe a newbie, somebody that's just joined and not yet certified in the community. Show and tell is something that we're still working on, but we have enhanced this. This is a place that the community has asked to come and share how they're using SmartSuite and include videos. This is a good one that Dan did in the Make and SmartSuite together. This is a great use case that's here, but it's really meant for you to share anything that you want about the unique ways that you're using SmartSuite or the interesting little features that you found that you're taking advantage of that's here. And we will monitor the show and tell and then pull videos back up into the Get Inspired section as we see interesting things or as you ask us to include those that's here. And then we added a developer hub. The developer right now is for more technical questions that you may want to have versus the general questions that are here. And we have lots of requests for information about our API guide. So we decided to just provide links to that directly inside of here. And then we have lots of questions about Zapier, Make, and Fly and how to use those. So if you have questions on Make, we just take you right to an article that Peter has written that just shares information about how to get started with Make. And then in most cases, it will include a link to a help article that goes into detail if you need exact step-by-step on how to do that. So The intent here is that we'll continue to post information on the sidebar that we think is useful to you based on your questions. But really inside of this section is meant for you, or inside of this space for you to come and maybe ask more technical questions that you don't want to just throw into the general questions section that's there. One of the areas that we're looking for feedback on from the community is what types of spaces you want to have available in the Ask the Community. We have some people that want to keep this very limited, 3, 4, or 5. So it's easy for you to go find information and then use tags like we're doing here to find information about questions. We have other people that want to have a larger 7, 8, 9, 10 different spaces that are more specific to things like automations and formulas and those types of things. So we're looking towards the community leadership team to help us define these. They're there, and we'll get back to you in the next week or so with the communications that we've had. Next area is events. So in this particular area is just one place that you can come to keep up to date on kind of what's coming with events that are here. Right now, we're focused on mainly webinars, but that's not the intent of this space. The intent is that as the community grows and each of you begin to host events, maybe on your own in your own geographies on different topics, as long as SmartSuite is somewhere in the discussion, we want to help promote that back to other users. We have a form that you can complete. It's in the knowledge base that I'll show you to request an event to be listed here, and then we'll gather the information from you and get it posted. Again, the intent is not to promote didn't mean to click on that. All SmartSuite webinars that are here. It's really to promote events inside of the community. And as the community grows and we start having events in different cities and locations around the world, you'll begin to see those listed here. And then we've been asked to include past events that have recordings so that you can click back into those events and see the recordings as well. This next one is a fun one that's here. We have a YouTube channel that has lots of fun videos on it we have just lots of great partners and people creating videos every week. We've been asked to take a subset of those and break those out and include them here, but also give you a link right from here to go right into the YouTube channel, which I think right now has a couple hundred videos, but that is growing really fast. And we just keep an eye on what's happening with videos being created, and then we link them back to our YouTube channel. But here's just a good subset, of things. And then it's broken down by category. So if you are new and wanting to get started with SmartSuite, we take some of the best getting started types of videos and just put them here. Some of you might be a Gareth fan or a Layla fan or a Dan fan. So we kind of let you pick who you might want to see that's there. We also broke down videos by use case. And there's just some fun use cases that are starting to happen. Some of these you'll see in the Get Inspired as well that's in here. But there's even some in different languages that you'll see here from partners. I think this one here is actually in Spanish. We may have a Ukrainian one in here. The intent is just to keep an eye on those. And as we see interesting things, or you ask us to add them, we'll add them to this board. We have more how-to videos that you see. This one's pretty common here, how to create checklist templates inside of SmartSuite using automations. So we'll continue to keep this updated with just fun things. And then as we do, or our partners do videos on key features that are inside of SmartSuite, we'll include those here as well. And then the last one is more integration related. So we've included the make, apply. I think most of you, or some of you, have probably seen the cool video that Pete did with SmartSuite and integration with ChatGPT, how that works. But again, we'll begin to add more to that. All right. This section here was one that it's probably the second most requested section that we have, which is to pull together a knowledge base that just makes it easy to see all the different ways that you can, or the different resources that are available to help people get up to speed. So this is really the getting started with SmartSuite. And so we have getting started guides, quick start guide. We have some videos that are there. We have specific topics on how do you move to SmartSuite from another product? So what's the core structure of SmartSuite? All of these are help articles. And if I would drill into one of those, it just takes you into the actual article with the details. But we're just trying to make it easier for you to find your way to that information. If you're new to SmartSuite, and you can just drive your team right to the community and go right into the knowledge base. We have quite a number of questions from time to time on how do we track the status of SmartSuite. So we use status page. So you can just click right here and it will tell you our uptime over the last X period, like 6 months by month that's in here. If you need to contact us, there's information and then some community links. And then the last item here is We have a series of online courses that we built, and next week we'll be more formally announcing the SmartSuite Academy, but you can start playing around. And if you just wanted to see a list of all the free online courses that are available to get you up to speed, it takes you into the Academy and shows you each of those courses along with for this particular topic that we think it would take you to go through the course. So you can get an idea. We try to keep the courses at minutes or less in almost all cases. You'll just see a few exceptions to that, like the power of smart docs is a pretty big one that's here, workspace administration. But by and large, you're going to see, we try to keep them this 18 minutes or less when we can, just to make it very efficient for you. And as you click into this, it will take you right into recordings, an online session with topics. And we've partnered with Gareth at Gap Consulting, and Gareth has created about 150 videos for us to go through all of the different topics that you see there. All right, just a couple more quick ones that are here. We have a common request to do two things here on the templates is to help people when they come in to the community to understand all of the different business categories of templates that we have. And when you click on a template, we'll take you right into our website that gives you all the details and things about each template that's there. These are for people that you might not have access in the product to see all of that, but you're just interested on what the capabilities are. And then we have a request a template capability up here now, so that this just links to a SmartSuite form that you complete real quick. It just tells us if you have a need. And in most cases, we'll either create that or we'll work with a partner to create that template for you. And then we add those back into our template library when we feel it meets all of our internal standards. There. We've also had a request to list all of the different integrations that are available in SmartSuite here to give people just a little more information. This is also going into the Help Center and on the website that's there, but you can see all the different types of integrations that are available now. If you were to click on one like the Make that I did prior, we'll give you just a quick overview of that within the link back to more detail that's there on how, if you're interested to actually set that up, how you would do that. The community ambassadors space, this is a limited space for just the leadership team that I've talked about. So not everybody will see this just yet, but this is a place for them to discuss ideas that they then present back to us as a company. And then the last item that I'll show you is just the product feedback, which I think most of you already know about. Just want to make sure that you understand that this is where you come in and actually add new feature requests and keep track, and you can vote on those. And this is where, let's just say conditional forms is a good one. You can see everyone that's voted on that. You can see all of the comments that are coming. You can see that we've marked this post as in progress. Each time that you vote or comment or add a feature that's here, you're then tied to this feature. So any announcement that we make about this feature moving through our development cycle, or if we have questions or comments that are added, you'll be auto notified of that. So we encourage all of our customers to click into here to view that. And this is inside the community, but if you want to see the full screen, you just click here. We take you right to the Canny board. Sometimes it's a little easier to see everything from this perspective as well. All right, that is a lot of information. I'm going to look to Avi, Nate, and Emma to help me on if there's questions, comments, and things that are happening in the chat that you'd like for me to focus on or answer.
Yeah, first one coming from Vaskin about adding comments and suggestions related to the community, similar to product feedback. Where's the relevant space, or where they should be putting that?
Yeah, so if you're a community ambassador like Vaskin that you are in our group of 25, we've set this new space up just for you for right now that's there. But on our call that we're going to have next week with the community, one of the questions that we have is, do you want to have a separate space that's just available for enhancements that people would like to see back to the community so we can have those discussions that are there?
Great. Doesn't look like we have too many questions, but feel free, everyone, to drop them in the chat now and Jon can answer them.
Yeah, we're trying to keep this at about 30 minutes so I could just get through the core information, leave time for any questions on product features. Let me give you a couple of updates here as well. I think that many of you are probably aware. I'm going to go into just a test solution that I have here. Just has demo data, but I want to make sure that you're aware that inside of our chat feature now, you can pull this up, or excuse me, in our comments feature, we now have this concept of a communication center, and you can click on this icon on settings, And by default, this is turned off, and you can turn this on now. And this is in alpha for all clients. You can turn this capability on. And what that allows you to do is now you have the ability not just to have a conversation here with people that are inside of SmartSuite. You can actually click on email, and now I can create an email, and I can email with people outside of SmartSuite. And when those people, excuse me, I'm just organizing my screen. When that email goes to that person, it can also go to your inbox. And if somebody replies to that, the reply comes back into this particular record. So you have the context, but also goes into your inbox. When you're setting up an email, you have the ability to pick fields. If there's an email field in this record, it will show up. I don't have an email field here, but I could pick that email field and pull the email addresses from the people writing the to. On the subject, I can auto build a subject. So maybe I wanted it to be an auto number plus a date. Doesn't make sense, but you can see the concept, and I could add some text in here to auto create that. I can do the same thing in the body. So I could say, hey, and I could pick maybe the assign to field that's there. And then I could add my message. You can attach documents, images, different types of things. You can actually pull images that are actually in the record itself. So you can see here, I have a couple of different files here. So I could just click that and include that directly in the email itself. And what's coming here next week, the next version of this is you'll save this as a template, and there'll just be a little templates area here. And then as you're working, you could just click new email, select template, maybe have 5 or 6 different templates that are set up for this particular use case. You select the template, all the information could be filled in. You can still edit if you want, and then you just hit send. We are also working on a capability that is a little bit farther out. When you go to send an email, you can either send it now, or you could set it to send at a particular date and time that's there. Each person, the email that's here now for every user in SmartSuite, we auto-generate an email address in SmartSuite that's specific for you. In the future, you're going to have the ability to come in and then link your own. If you want to use Outlook or Gmail, a different email client, you'll be able to link that as well. But we do allow you to add yourself as a CC or a BCC so that this goes to your regular inbound mailbox as well. The second item that I had a couple people already requesting some comments on is the document designer. We have showed that off a couple of times. We've got a core group of people that have been working on it with us or reviewing it. Document designer allows you to take content that's inside of any record in SmartSuite and basically build any type of PDF that you would like to build, whether that be a bill, an invoice, a brochure, a slide deck. There's lots of interesting things that is going to be released tomorrow in alpha for all clients. You'll be able to find that by logging into SmartSuite, clicking up here, and you will, going into an app, and you will see document designer that will show up here. And then you can just say create new, and we'll take you directly into the designer where you can start dragging and dropping and moving elements onto the form. You could pick different fields that you want to include on the form. You could move the fields around, locations. You can play with the text and the background colors, just all kinds of interesting things. And then there's just core settings on sizes. So you can pick the size. Will default to the 8.5 by 11 that's in here, but you can pick what you want. Some people want to have more card sizes that are in here. Other people want to have the larger format. What's interesting here is that once the information is here, you can go to each record to see how it's going to be viewed. If you want to export, you'll have the ability to just export that into a PDF. And the next phase that is coming here is you'll be able to use templates that you've set up inside of an automation. There'll be a new automation action type of generate PDF. And you can select that particular template. And the action might be that on the 1st of each month, you want to create an invoice for your customers. So you tell it what records that it needs to pull. It generates that. You can then choose if you want to save that as a file, as an attachment in the actual record as well. And then maybe the next action is I want to send that in a customized email back to the customer that's there. It's one of the larger features that we've worked on here recently, but it's a fun one. And any other questions on features or timing of features that you'd like for me to go through?
Jon, there was one question on how many emails can you set up in the communication center? I think she's referring to the templates.
How many templates can you set up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty big number. I need to go back and look. I don't have that top of mind, but it's if I remember, it's like either 25 or 30 templates per app that you can set up.
Great. Is there an update on shareable links for mobile?
I guess I'm struggling with what the question is. So we do allow you to share links now. If you have a shared grid and you want to share that on mobile to somebody that doesn't have our mobile app, it will now display on mobile and on tablet as well. If you have a link and you send a link to somebody that has mobile and they're inside the product, it will open up the mobile app and you'll see that inside of the mobile app itself.
Perfect. Thanks, Emma, for sending that link as well. And then for sharing and exchanging what members of the community have built, I assume we're going to use the show and tell space for this. Is that correct?
It is. There's a couple of cool things here that we've built in. And again, this is up to the community on the best way that you want to display this. This is the first stab at being able to see and comment on it. I think most of you know now that you can go in to any solution that you create. You can do a couple of things. I can duplicate this solution, which is interesting in a lot of cases because you can decide if you want to duplicate it with or without data or comments that are in here. And then let's say that you've created something interesting, but you don't want to share your actual data. You could go in and duplicate this, take the data out. Maybe in the demo solution, you add some demo data, but then I could come in and turn on the share solution option. And this allows me to share the structure and all of the content of the solution with somebody else. And I'll just click on a link to show the link here. And then you can see that it's just displayed in a read-only state back to the person that you share it with. And they also have the ability, if you've turned this on, they can copy this structure or this solution and everything that's included here into their own account. It makes a copy of this. It's just like you're duplicating a particular solution as well. And you have the same way. Go back to the actual one here. When I do duplicate a solution, you also have the ability now, if you have access to more than one account, you don't have to share and then copy it in. You can just duplicate. And this is just showing a listing of other workspaces that I have access to. And I can click on that particular workspace and I can copy this solution and the structure directly in there without needing to go through the whole process I just showed you.
Great. We have another question on sharing card views. The release date on that, I assume, and any information you have, John.
Yeah, we're probably 6 weeks away from being able to share the next couple of options. Right now, we allow you to share the grid. We're working on the card, the Kanban, and the calendar. So those are the next three that are coming. Card and Kanban are really close. I don't have an exact date, but I can get one and post back into the community here sometime tomorrow.
Great.
But I would say that within 6 weeks is a pretty safe bet on that.
Great. And then a couple requests for form logic.
Yes, that is being worked on as we speak. Again, I can get a better update. I'll get an update on Friday morning and I can post back in the community what that update is. But I'd say worst case, we're 6 weeks out. It's going to be faster than that. I think that's the absolute worst case. It could be as soon as 2 weeks. It just depends on how we get through the testing on that. But it's in process. We're making progress. Should be really close on that.
And then to add on top of that, automation logic as well.
Automation logic. I'm not sure what you mean by that.
I assume, Mohammed, if you want to expand on that, but I assume adding conditions within automations so you don't have to set up different triggers and actions for those different conditions.
Yeah. Are you talking about the find feature?
Oh, conditional logic in the automation.
Yes, so that's exactly what the find feature, the find action allows you to do is you can set that the condition. Now there's a lot of additional, as you set these conditions, there's more enhancements that we're working on in this area, but this is where you come in and actually set conditions that then look back to say, I only want to take the following actions on these records that match this condition that's here. You can add multiple finds that are here, and then you can use that find in an action. Maybe you say, I want to send an email. It looks back at, you can have it look back at the find to do that. But what's nice here is I can have multiple finds doing different things and multiple actions doing different things all at once. That's here. One of the features that we released quietly today, and we're testing on production with a number of people, and we'll be making announcements tomorrow on, is we've now included the time zone that each automation will run for you at the top to make it very clear that's there. If you want to change that automation, you can just click here and change this. It will default to the time zone of the person that set it up, but you can change this to what makes most sense for you. And then we give you information when you hover here to see that. We're also adding the ability with date fields that anytime that you include a date field, let's go back in the trigger. Let's look at a scheduled time. We're adding, you can see here we've added the time zone next to each of those elements as well. So we're just trying to make it easier for you to know. There's been confusion on when things are going to actually trigger, not realizing it's based on the time zone of the person that set it up, and that's not always what you want to see. So now you can select that. So if I change the time zone up here and then I open up this drop down, all of these times now relate back to this particular time zone.
Great. In terms of tracking errors in automations, I know we have stuff planned. Do you have any information on that, Jon?
We actually we had a meeting this morning and I got an update on that. Let's say that we're probably 3 weeks away, but it looks like we're going to be sooner than that. What we're adding is inside of any automation that you set up, there'll be a log now that you'll be able to click at the top and see the log of not just each run like I was just showing you, but it will show you each time that the trigger was valid, we will have a log entry. So you'll see that and you'll see what actually happened for the automation, like 25 records were updated in X, Y, and Z that's there. So no, that's the infrastructure is all done behind the scenes. We're already collecting all the data. We're now just building the UI that you'll see on top of the page.
Great. Doesn't look like there's too much else in the chat, but we still have a good amount of people here. So feel free to ask any more questions.
Yeah. It's always hard being the presenter here and talking to yourself that's here. So throw some stuff in the chat or in the Q&A that's here. Also be really vocal. Most of you don't have a problem with that, but be vocal on what you want. Make sure you go into the community and request features that are there. And just let us know. We review each and every feature every week. I typically comment back to the vast majority of those or ask questions. In a lot of cases, our designer, if we're just thinking about designs, will actually post designs back in the request. So you could see kind of initial designs and what we might be thinking about, and then you could add comments to that. So before we actually move into formal design, we go through a couple of iterations with the people that have requested the feature just to ensure that we're meeting the use cases there.
Great.
Looks like is there a couple more Q&A ones?
Yeah. So Mohammed's asking about another role type that when they share access with someone, they want them to edit existing records, but not delete them. Do you think this can be added down the road?
So they want them to be able to edit and not delete?
Edit existing records, but not delete them.
The answer to down the road is absolutely. I'll show you what we're thinking here. I was just pausing for a second to think how we could accomplish that now. So, right now we give you these defined roles and you could give someone full access or just editor where they can edit their own content, but not view other content that's there. Might be how we could do some of that. We allow you to break down assignments by records so people can only see things they're assigned to. But what's coming, which will be at the bottom of this, is a custom role. So you'll be able to go in and build your own role based on the different attributes that you want somebody to have in this particular application that's here. The infrastructure for that is in place. We haven't started yet on the UI, but we've built it in a way that allows us to do that. So if that's a priority, I'd say get into the feature request and have as many people upvote that as you can. And that's what we pay attention to. And that's when things get upvoted. That's when we start to move things and change things around in the development cycle.
Awesome. We also have a question about conditional logic for sections and timeline on that.
So the same logic that we're building for forms that allows you to do conditional logic will be used for the sections. So the minute that's done in the form, it will just be probably a matter of a week and a half that we'll turn that on for sections. So you'll be able to go in and hide sections altogether based on a value that's in the first section up above, and it'll be dynamic that's there. And that's going to be a great way that if we have people that have 300-400 fields in a form, and you don't need to see all those forms if the status isn't in a particular state that's there. And when it hits that state, then you can show the additional fields that you would want to be completed in that particular record.
Sounds good. Oscar's curious about access level between account admin and solution creator. Can you talk a little bit about solution managers and how they can manage the automations of any solution, even if they're not an admin?
Yeah. So when you come into permissions for a particular solution that you've set up, the person that creates the solution is by default is an admin. By default, they're a solution manager. What that means is they have complete control over this particular solution that's here. They can invite other members to be solution managers. And when you do that, those people then have control over that as well. So you can change the structure, you can change the permissions, all those types of things in regards to that. Then you have just regular users that are here that start with full access. They can't actually add fields and change the structure of things, but you start to then give them different levels with the ability to create content and create views inside of the solution that you've set. If you are an admin in an account that's here, so if I come back over here, you can look at permissions that are here. If I'm set up as a workspace admin that's here, that means that I have access to all solutions. So that's the highest level of authority that you can give inside of SmartSuite is the workspace admin. And just know that when you grant that, they have access over billing, but also over any solution that anybody has created that's in there. That way you have the ability to manage that. But most people have one or two admins, and then you give people a role when you invite a user to the SmartSuite. To show you here, when I invite a member, you can say that I want them to be a solution creator. And what that means is they can create new solutions, and they can then, when they create a solution, they could name who they want to be a solution manager with them. And that could be another solution creator, or it could be somebody that has general access, but you've granted them just that particular level of access to the solution you want them to manage.
Perfect. That answers it.
Oh.
I also have another question about the recycle bin and if this is team wide. So an admin can look into the recycle bin and see if something has been deleted by a member of their organization.
Yes, absolutely. So if you're an admin, you see everything. If you're a solution manager, you see everything in the solutions that you're the manager on. If you're a regular user, it's just based on your access level. Yeah, so if I go into the recycle bin here, for those of you that might not understand the recycle bin, this is just a place that anytime a piece of content is deleted, it goes into the recycle bin for a period of time based on your plan. We'll tell you here at the top the number of days that something's in here. So it's not really deleted. And then you could click here to restore that particular record. You have the ability also to do that so these are just all the solutions that we have. And I could click and see every piece of content that's been deleted across everything, or I could pick a particular solution and just see that content. And if a user does not have access to a solution, they won't see what's in the recycle bin for that solution either.
Perfect. I'm curious about us accommodating the data localization, because he's dealing with companies around the world and then in the US. Each
user in their user profile, you can come in and they can set their locale that they want to have in place. And then so you just come in here. If I want to edit, I just edit. So I can pick my locale and my time zone. And any date that you see in SmartSuite will be updated to reflect their particular time zone as they're viewing the content that's there. So I think that covers what you're asking for, but if not,
yeah, feel free to follow up, Akira, if that doesn't answer.
Okay.
Paul's curious about progress with client portals.
Yes, I think we've been communicating that we're going a couple different directions on client portals. And the good news is I know quite a number of people have requested Softer. Arthur, who was one of the two co-founders of Softer, reached out to us a week and a half ago and maybe 2 weeks ago and said that February the 1st was the date that they were starting on the implementation of SmartSuite as a data source that's in there. And Avi, I think, reached out to him yesterday. I don't know if we've heard back yet to get an update for this week, just to see where they're at with things. And as we get updates, we'll communicate those back to the community. We don't have any control over how fast that they do that, but it seems that we've got their attention through the community for the need for that, and that they're fast tracking that on their side. We're also working with a new startup called Easy Portal that wants to add us as their first data source. And they'll be releasing an alpha version of that in April. And we have a select group of customers that have been in contact with them sharing use cases, just to make sure that they can cover the initial use cases that are there. If you would have an interest to be in contact with them and share your specific use case that's there, please let me know, and I'm happy to put you in contact with them as well.
Great. Ash is curious about SMS integration two-way. He knows there's Make and Twilio out, but is there something coming natively? Maybe this could be in the communication center.
So being able to send an SMS from inside of let me just open that up. So I think what you're saying is being able to send an SMS inside of here in addition to an email. The answer to that is we've implemented the architecture in a way to support that will allow us to add additional items that are here for you. The two most common so far are WhatsApp has been requested by a number of customers. That one's a little difficult because we don't have direct access to WhatsApp that's there to pull information back, but we can definitely send it's there. But the answer is yes, the architecture was built in a way to allow more communication methods to be added over time there.
And then there's only a couple left. One about undo while working in SmartSuite.
Yep, that one is one of the trending topics that we're seeing, especially as people are starting to use a lot of the bulk actions like you see here. You can now, we just released this today or yesterday. You can come in and select particular fields, do Control-C. You can copy those fields. You can go back in to a record, and I can then do Control-V, and I can paste that content directly in. So what's coming first is the ability to keep track of that and do undo on that. I don't have an exact date just yet, but know that as soon as we finish the series of updates that we're making to grid control that allows you to do all these interesting things with cutting and pasting data, selecting columns, using shift keys and such, that's the next item that's being done by that group is the undo feature.
Great. And that wraps up all the questions. I'll pass it back to you, Jon.
Okay. I just want to say thank you for everybody for attending. We're super excited about the new community. Please make sure that you jump in, start using the community, make sure you tell people on your team about it, and don't be shy with the features that you would like to see there. And then in about a week and a half, after we finalize a few things with the community leadership team, we'll announce who that team is and a little more direction on how to interact with that particular team as well. And that's really meant to just be the voice of the community back to myself and Nate on what's happening or what you would like to see, not just in the community, but in the product and just overall from SmartSuite. So again, we appreciate your time. Have a great rest of your day, and please hit me with any questions as well. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.